Good morning, or good afternoon if you're on the East Coast. Welcome to VirtualPBX-admin training. If you are a vConsole customer, which you can see right here, your training is no longer offered live. We do have recorded trainings, which you can find actually on this particular web page. And the advanced admin training covers everything for a vConsole customer. For Dash customers, I'll get you to our support page for Dash. So this is where you would go for any support document that you need whenever you want it. We do update these as often as we can, and especially if a new feature comes out, there'll be a document shortly thereafter or right at the launch of the new feature. These documents will have screenshots of the UI so you know what to look for as you're going through it. And we also do have videos up here. And this right here is actually a recording of a previous version of this training, which basically covers everything that we go through here. For any VirtualPBX customer, if you need to log in, you can click on this login link at the top of the page. And the first one, this is your Dash login. This is what we'll be going through today. And actually, I just realized something. Probably this one. Down below that, you have the VirtualPBX web phone. This is something that's available to our Dash customers. It's basically using a desktop or laptop browser, Chrome or Firefox specifically right now. And you can use your browser to make and receive calls. And then at the bottom here, we have our vConsole login for our vConsole customers. So for Dash, login is your email address, a password, and your account name. Normally, that's going to be your customer name instead of this long one I have here. You now please have a chance to remember me, and then your forgot info in case you forget your passwords or for whatever reasons you're having some trouble logging in. When you click on sign in, you probably want to remember your passwords. I tend not to, just to make sure, well, just because I have different logins for different things. And we get taken to our dashboard. So this is a snapshot of your system as it currently exists on the system. Here we go. Users, total number of users. These are people who have all the user features. They can make and receive calls. They've got things like call forwarding, ring back or hold music, multiple devices. They can set their follow me, that sort of thing. Agents are specific to ACD queues. These are people who are actually mostly just taking calls in through a queue. They don't have anything beyond a voicemail box, and they can only make use of VoIP devices. Whereas a user, they can have cell phones on their device if they want, or a landline. Then you have your total devices on your system, broken down by what type, and then how many are unregistered. Basically means not connected, or the system doesn't have a way to verify it's connected, like a cell phone or a landline. Main number, these are your main numbers. So these are the numbers your customers typically dial in to get to you. These numbers all behave the same way. So they all have the same main greeting. They all have the same routing, at least initially. Your fax box number is for your inbound faxes. Total numbers, total number of phone numbers on the account. Assigned numbers are numbers you're actually using. Spare numbers are numbers on your account that you're not using. Maybe you only use them for like seasonal things or for a special advertising campaign, that sort of thing. And then a breakdown between local numbers and toll-free numbers. Users in company directory, notice that this is 13 and this total users is 19. So basically 6 of the users opted to not show up in the company directory. The account ID, this is your account number. If you ever need to email us, that's the number you can send to us if for some reason you don't want to give us your company name. Or you can give it in addition to your company name, but typically we can find you by a company name. And then account realm, you will use this if you fax out, as well as for any third-party devices you're going to use, whether that's a soft phone application or a VoIP phone that we can't auto provision, which we'll get to shortly. Up top here is your company caller ID. You choose any of your main numbers. And then company caller ID name. This is text that can appear when you make outbound calls, usually from a VoIP device. And this can be displayed on the receiving phone's display. Now, a couple things to keep in mind about the caller ID name. One, you're restricted to 15 characters total. That includes spaces and special characters. Two, not every carrier supports caller ID name, although also referred to as CNAME or CNAM, C-N-A-M. Which means if a call routes through one of those carriers, then the receiving person, the other end, is not going to get the caller ID name information. If any person or any carrier in the chain of that call has a problem of some type, where that the caller ID name information gets garbled or isn't transmitted properly, again, not going to show up at the other end of the device. And then lastly, and this is especially true for cell phones, a couple things to keep in mind. For many cell phone carriers, the caller ID name is not included in your base plans. You typically have to pay your cell phone carrier to make use of that. You might have a free trial initially to start. Additionally, if the cell phone user has, or the cell phone device has your company phone number programmed in and has a different label for it, that label will take precedence over whatever we send. Basically, the device information supersedes anything we send it. All right, down here we have the company emergency or E911 address. Again, you want to make sure this is updated. This would be your main, like your corporate headquarters. You can, if you have different caller ID for different employees, they can set that up themselves, or you can have it set up for them under their devices directly. And again, this is for North America. Basically, you pick up a VoIP phone, you call 911. This is the address information we're sending to emergency services. So you definitely want to make sure that is correct. Hold music, this will be the default hold music for the account. You can always upload a file. It just needs to be either a .wav, .wav, or a .mp3. Should be under 5 megabytes, although we've had some issues lately that I know our engineers team is working on. So it might not work at, you know, like 4 megabytes or something like that. You might have to try to compress it further. And that's something that is still being checked on. Then hours will take you to a certain part of the main numbers field. So you'll just jump to the main numbers. Yeah, sometimes Dash does take a little bit to load, just to keep that in mind. All right, main company numbers. Again, you'll see, if you click on it, you'll see all your numbers. This tells you have E911, inbound CNAME, and prepend. And this is actually outbound CNAME, but not inbound. And the gear icon lets you set any of these up. Now, at least one of your main numbers must have E911 associated with it. And if you want to, so if you want to remove one of these 702 numbers, for example, I'd have to make sure, or let's say I want to remove both 702s. I'd have to make sure that either the 844 number or the 703 number has E911 set up first before I could remove both 702 numbers. You can add additional numbers from spare numbers, meaning you have extra numbers, or you can buy new numbers. The system uses the word buy just as its mechanism to add numbers to the account, right? So if you just signed up and you don't have any phone numbers, you're not going to be charged for adding your first 2 numbers to the account, for example. So most of our accounts include 2 phone numbers. So those first 2, you use the buy numbers instructions that we're going to finish going through here. That will add them to your account, but you're not going to be charged for those. Once you get to 3, or if you're on the Dash Unlimited, your fourth number, then you will be charged additionally. So local numbers, you enter in an area code. So let's go with 650. And then you see what's available. You click add, and then you would click by numbers to add it to the account. Similarly for toll free, you would choose one of the prefixes. I'm not quite sure why 833 isn't showing up yet, but again, same process. Now, if for whatever reason the area code or prefix you're looking for is not available, you can always email porting@virtualpbx.com and say, hi, for this account, we're looking for a phone number with this area code. And then you can give us whatever other parameters you're looking for, whether that's specific city or particular exchange, etc. And it looks like no one's here, so we're going to go ahead and end the broadcast.